You're listening to the Live Out Loud podcast with River Wynn and Michelle Flamer.
Hi, River.
Hello, Michelle and Michelle.
Yay, Michelle's here. We've got
Double Michelle Day.
I know, right? It's so awesome. So how was your so I'm on day 3 of a 4-day weekend and it's been lovely.
That sounds absolutely lovely.
I know. How are you doing? How was your week and weekend?
Good. It's actually, we went from it being like 90 and sunny here to now it is rainy and like in the upper 40s, which is so unusual for right now, this time of the year. So it's actually just been like a cozy indoor weekend, which I love.
I love that too.
Yeah.
Is it raining up there at all now?
Yeah, it's been raining off and on all weekend.
God, I want some of that. I need some of
Right.
that.
I know.
Michelle, how are you doing? You're visiting me.
I am good. It's hot out here in Arizona. Real hot, real hot.
How hot is it?
I'm melting just a little bit.
It's getting hot in here. Take off all, well, we don't take off all our clothes, but yeah.
I mean, you went tubing though.
Yeah, we went tubing. So we
you
did
took off
take
some clothes.
Yeah, we did take off clothes to tube. You're absolutely right. And the tubing was dope. Being on the Salt River was so lovely. But your favorite part, what was it?
Gosh, I just highly recommend floating down the Salt River. I try to do it annually now. I try to make it like a tradition, and I come and visit Michelle and we go float down the river. It is so peaceful. It is so soothing. It's magical. Like
It is.
It's just I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with floating down the river, and just shutting off and enjoying the surrounding nature. And it was magical.
Literally, when we hit the water, it becomes like a vortex for us in a sense, like of just all good things, nature. The other part of it is we are literally off grid at that point because there is no service once we're like a little bit floating down the river. You look at your phone and you're like, you're just off grid, and it kind of forces you to stay in the present pocket. And people come by and some of them have music, so it's like you get these different music, like sometimes it'll be mariachi and then it'll be like 90s country, and then with a cute little healer on the front of a sup board.
I saw that. It was so cute. Chubby little healer.
Some people have their dogs with them. Some people really just hang out on the side of the river, and then the kids just play in like the shallow portion. But then you see the wild horses and
I was gonna say, you saw wild horses, right? Like, that's so cool.
It's so beautiful. So anyways, today we thought, being that like the river floating the river for like, I grew up in LA, right? So I didn't grow up floating the river. But for a lot of the people that we're seeing here who grew up in Arizona, that's nostalgic for them. That's like a normal like Saturday thing, or weekend thing that they do for themselves during the summer that they probably have always done, because some of these families are like dialed in with fishing rods and like tents on the side of the river. They park a car down at the end and at the front, and they've got like a whole thing going on. So it's pretty cool. But I think today, just talking about the fact that we're just tipping into summer and talking about some of the nostalgia of summer that maybe the three of us have in common, or some other things that we didn't know about. So I thought that would be a fun topic for today.
I like it. I like it a lot.
So what kinds of things in the summer do you remember, and what years do you remember? Like, what year was it when you started to remember your summers?
I have a pretty good memory from, most of my younger childhood. I would say actually like my youngest years are a stronger memory for me than some of my like from about the time I started the cult until leaving the cult time. So like some of my memories before that are actually stronger. But in general, I feel like it's interesting for me because I was homeschooled. I didn't have that distinction that a lot of kids did, I think, of like summer break has started and in like that celebration of it. We did homeschool year round for just like an hour or two a day. So there was never like a summer break is starting kind of celebration definition. But I know living in Oregon, we did a lot of outdoor time for the summer. And we did a lot of getting together with friends. And so it was like a lot of barbecues, a lot of time spent at the park playing soccer or going swimming in the river, because where I live here in LeGrand and rural Oregon, like we have water access like everywhere. Like last weekend I went camping at a lake that's like a 5-minute drive from my house. So
I love
like
that.
a lot of swimming in lakes and rivers, going to a lot of music. I remember going to a lot of music events locally as a kid. We had like one of the big nostalgic things for me is we have every summer there's an event called Crazy Days in our downtown area where like the fire trucks come out and set up their hoses for the kids to play in. There's like a vintage like and drop these ping pong balls that had numbers on them, and you would go around to all the local downtown stores and claim prizes. And so it was just like, they don't do it like that anymore, but they still have that like Crazy Days event. And so they're just a lot of nostalgic things like that, like local festivals, things we used to do when I was a kid that are.
So some of the other fun things that you did, like for nostalgia back in the day?
Going to local events, like
Yeah.
we had like local festivals that happened when I was a kid that are still a thing now as I'm an adult, and I get to take my kids to them, which is super fun. Definitely going to the lakes, to the rivers. We live in an area where it's super accessible, and a lot of people do floating here. Actually, I didn't really do that when I was a kid, but I have as an adult, and that's been
You
fun.
should totally take the kids. They would love it.
They love it, and they love to go kayaking. Like there's a lake 5 minutes from us that we can kayak on and float on. They go boating pretty often with their dad and his friends. Like there's a lot of stuff like that around here to do. So yeah, a lot of the things that I did as a kid here, barbecuing, camping, gathering with friends, going to music events, all of that, like we still do here as an adult, which is fun.
What about you, Michelle? What's some stuff that you remembered from your childhood?
Oh gosh, I was outside a lot, and I grew up in a neighborhood filled with all boys. I was the only girl. So whatever they wanted to do, I kind of tagged along. So I would say definitely water balloon fights.
Yes.
Or super soakers at some point.
Yeah, super soakers.
Yeah.
Lots of slip and slides and sprinkler runs for sure. Let's see. I would say backyard sleepovers, like doing sports or tents in the backyard.
Did you sleep on a trampoline? Did you ever like camp out on a trampoline?
We did, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
My neighbor had one of those.
Yep.
Definitely the skating rink and mixtapes. Like I just think of in the 80s and 90s, it was just so different.
Yeah.
It was. It really was. We didn't have iPads. We didn't have.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I just think about, I think we were talking yesterday how different kids are because, of course, Michelle's dating a mom, right, with like tween teens, and Kaden is a teenager now. And we're just like, remember when, and how we would just play outside. We would literally knock on the door. It was the classic, like, can so and so come out and play? Like, can Lisa come out and play? And they'd be like, Lisa, your friend Michelle's here. Like, Michelle's here. Or the parents would kind of have into like a little like spidey sense when they sense like all of us were ready to go outside at the same time, like usually 9 or 10 in the morning after we've had our bowls of cereal and our summer cartoons. And then all of a sudden you would start to hear friends outside, and then you would be like, can I go? Can I go? Like, can I go outside? And I just remember that
Or in my case, my mom would be like, go outside and don't come back in until I tell you it's time. Because there were 6 of us, and she was like, go outside.
Oh my God.
Do not be in the house.
Did you have that one, do any of your brothers have that one friend that literally gave your parents heart attacks all the time?
I'm pretty sure my brothers gave my parents heart attacks at the time. We didn't need a friend for that. I have 4 brothers 3 of them are exceptionally chaotic. And I think all of them are ADHD. I think all of us are ADHD, 6 siblings. So my parents had heart attacks all the time, probably, if they were paying
Yeah.
attention.
I mean, my brother had a really good friend of his named Halden, and my mom used to wake up in the middle of the night with nightmares about him because he was chaotic as a kid. He's not anymore. Like I know him as an adult still. Like I've known him for a gazillion years, his whole life. But he used to he was the shit starter.
Oh, no, I'm pretty sure my
Because he
brothers
was an
were the
only
shit
child.
starters.
Yeah, he was an only child, and so he was left too many hours alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure my family, we were the shit starters. I'm pretty sure we gave other people nightmares. As an example. So we had some friends who moved to our area to join the cult as well. But they had 4 children and they moved out into a property outside of town. And it was covered in like old cars and some old barns. And our moms
Mhm.
were like, go outside and play. We're unpacking. And so there's, 10 of us out there just roaming around this property looking for treasures. And my brother went into this old car and found what we later learned in adulthood was a box of condoms. And he took them out and was putting them on his fingers, put them on all of his fingers, all 10 fingers. And he was like, I found finger gloves. And
Oh
so it was like an
my gosh.
industrial size box. And so all 10 of us put these condoms on our fingers and we were running around the property like, glove fingers, glove fingers. And our moms lost their minds when they saw what it was. And we had no idea why they were upset with us, right?
That is so freaking funny. So,
Little cold kids running around with condoms on their fingers.
oh my, I mean, that is really pretty funny. We used to play, with me, because I'm the oldest here, of course. So this is like the 70s for me. It wasn't even about the 80s. Like all the kid stuff, was really for me, like late 70s, maybe early 80s, of course. But we would play Ding Dong Ditch on our bikes.
Oh.
So one summer, I actually broke my collarbone playing Ding Dong Ditch on the bike. It
Oh
was
my.
a very narrow street where we were sort of rolling through, and it was narrow enough in LA, like if cars parked on either side of the street, there was only room for like one car to go through. So I had to quickly make a decision, and I went up a driveway and just barely hit my pedal on a stand, like the sprinkler heads that would pop up
Mm-hmm.
and they would stay like standing erect. That was back in
Yeah.
the day where they didn't make them like flush into the ground.
Yeah.
My pedal hit it and then I tumbled over. And I woke up. I probably was like out for a second, but I woke out of that and I stood up and I realized something was very wrong. And my brother was like, oh my God, that was epic. Like you just totally flipped over. Are you okay? And I said, no, I'm not okay. And he went to he's like, I gotta bike home and go get mom. Like he had to bike to go get mom. And then they took me to, and I had broken my left clavicle in two parts. And I
Wow.
had to wear one of those like figure 8 things all summer.
My gosh. What a
But the
bundle.
but the tipping point for me was going to the Renaissance Fair at the hottest part of the summer with this freaking thing on, and I didn't want to go because I was in pain. But I
Yeah.
remember my dad making me go, and I was really pissed
Ugh,
because I was
that sucks.
uncomfortable and it hurt. Like
Yeah, you're
I was
uncomfortable.
getting like the bruise down the front of my chest, like the purple and yellow bruising. And I mean, I was a hot mess. But summer nostalgia for me is also like lemonade stands.
Mm-hmm.
We made a very rickety tree fort. And I say rickety, like this shit, like we had friends fall out of that goddamn tree. Like glass Coca-Cola bottles and rickety tree forts don't go well. Let me just say that.
Mm-hmm. That
We
doesn't sound
really,
like a good combination.
yeah, not good combinations. But what else? And just like the ice cream man going through.
Gosh, yes. here in LeGrand, we recently had someone start an ice cream truck again. And every night he rolls through the neighborhoods with, you know, the ice cream truck music going. And the kids love it, but I don't love it because, you know, it's not $5 to buy, you know, a couple of popsicles and ice cream. Now it's like $15. And I'm like,
what?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
For real?
For real. It's expensive. And I've done it once with my kids and I had to tell them after that, sorry guys, like we just can't do this all the time, you know.
I read a meme. Yeah, tell me.
No, it's the inflated ice cream truck.
It is. It is.
But you also can't do, like, when you brought up Ding Dong Ditch and toilet papering people's houses, you can't do that anymore because of the Ring camera.
I know. Now everybody knows. Like, we were so
toilet
safe
paper's
back
expensive.
then.
Why are we wasting that?
I know. There was no technology to get us in trouble back then either. But I will say for the ice cream man, I saw I can't take credit for it, but I loved that this one guy, there was a meme going around where the guy told his kids that when they heard the music, that meant that he was out of ice cream.
Oh, wow. That's
Game
brilliant.
changer.
Brilliant.
That was well played, sir. Well played.
Brilliant.
So back in the day, what would you have chosen if you ran like me? I chased the ice cream truck.
Oh yeah. We all did.
I would run. I would.
Hell yeah. We would know like where it was, and if it would go up a street, we'd all run in the middle of the street and be like, "Us, come down here, come up here," you know, like, and then he would wrap around and come the other way so that it would be, you know, out of safety or whatever. But
so your top pick.
My top pick.
What was your go-to?
Yeah, I really loved. I liked the bomb pops, but I liked like the tropical one. Like I liked the red, white, and blue. Like that 7-Up in the middle was so good, right? Like that 7-Up-y flavor. But I liked I like that, and I really loved ice cream sandwiches. I still kind of do if I have one every now and then. Like it's a nostalgic. Like I like the Neapolitan, isn't that what it's called? Like the strawberry.
Yeah, with strawberry, chocolate, vanilla.
Yeah, I like stuff like I like where I can have one thing and have like multiple flavors like within.
I'm with you on that one. I liked anything orange creamsicle, but
do you
remember Schwann's? I don't know if
remember
Schwann's
Good
was
Humor?
Yes. Do you remember the Schwann's truck? I don't know if that was a national thing. Was that a national thing or was it
a West Coast? I think it's more of a West Coast thing.
The Schwann's truck is what I was more into the Schwann's, man, because my mom would buy the boxes of the push-up pops. You know, the ones that were like in a tube and you'd push them up.
Yes.
Those were so good. And so I was way more interested.
It's a toilet paper tube.
Yeah, it's like exactly. I was so much more interested in the Schwann's man than the ice cream truck.
Okay, Michelle, what did you pick?
I'm a snow cone girl all the way. Yep.
See, I still don't love snow cones. Kaden loves snow cones, though.
My kids love snow cones.
And the juice would just melt, or the sugar, whatever would melt to the very bottom, and then you just drink it out of that little cup. Oh yeah. And I had a Snoopy snow cone machine. Oh
my gosh.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I love the giant Otter Pops. Ooh, the giant ones.
Those I've never had those.
There was like a corner store by my house, and they would sell those giant Otter Pops for like 90 cents.
Do you guys remember there was also the kind that was ice cream, but it was like really cute shapes?
Oh yeah, they still have those.
Yeah, like there were cute little animals and stuff.
Yeah.
My kids,
when we got the ice cream truck, my kids got like, I think one of my kids got a Batman shaped one, and the other kid got like a Pokemon shaped one. Like
had a bubble gum in it, like a bubble gum piece somewhere.
Yeah, like the eyes are bubble gum pieces.
I think that's exactly right. Yeah, you guys are right on that. That's really fun. Yeah. So, what about the nostalgia of when we're in our teen years? And did you use Sun-In in your hair for bleaching your hair?
We were poor, so I did not. I used lemon juice.
Yeah, I
would steal my mom's lemons that she would buy. And then, because she went, remember some of our parents went through a phase where they're like doing like the lemon juice cleanse with like the lemons and the cayenne. That's like all they drank,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My mom did that. So I would steal her lemons.
I think that was the years of Fen as well.
I don't know, but.
Yeah, it was, right? 100%. Okay.
But so I would steal her lemons and then squeeze them onto my hair and then lay out with my hair out in the sun.
Or did you braid your hair, get it wet, and then wake up in the morning to unbraid it for like the crimped look or whatever it gave?
Yeah, like so many braids.
Do you
So many
remember
braids.
that too?
I'd
Yeah.
make my sister braid my hair at night like that. Or I would use the foam rollers, the ones that
Yeah.
have like the plastic clips with the foam, with a bandana over it.
Oh.
And scrunchies. Did you have long hair? I had long hair.
I had a
So-
little bit of long hair growing up. I did. So I
Scrunchies.
didn't cut my hair till many years later, but yeah, but I wasn't a scrunchy girl. I didn't even really ever put my hair in a ponytail. So
Mm.
I just
What
wasn't.
about the fair? Because I know here in like rural Oregon, like the highlight of the summer is going to the county fair. And as a teenager, that was like the ultimate experience where you'd save up and
Yes.
buy your wristband for the carnival and then go with your friends and plan your whole outfit. And there would be the person you had a crush on was maybe in your friend group going, and there would be like one or two parents who were chaperoning, but you got to roam the entire fairgrounds by yourself with your friends and like go on
They
the
were always
rides
they
and
were
then like
always the
flirt with
perfect
your crush
parent.
on the ride.
But they were always like the parents that didn't micromanage anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they didn't
Like they
care
were
what you
like,
were doing. Like they didn't care at all. They just would like
exactly.
occasionally be like, have you seen so and so?
Do you guys remember those moments though? Even like if we were all in those age groups, it was always like, okay, meet me back here at this time because we didn't have any phones.
Right. We just had watches.
It's just, yeah, we just have watches and it's like, okay, meet me back here at 9 just so I can see you guys. It doesn't mean we're gonna go home. It just means like let's
Yeah.
like meet up and make sure everyone's still okay. If anybody
Yeah.
needs anything, blah blah blah. Like it was so funny. I mean, just like we would just call our friends and if they pick up, they pick up. And if the phone just rings, then just
My
it
aunt,
rings.
my aunt and I were explaining to my kids this week about landlines because
Yeah.
we met her for Froyo this week, and she was telling us that she just got my uncle a cell phone and she got rid of their landline. They've had a landline for since the beginning of time.
My mom
And
too.
yeah, and they got rid of the landline because it wasn't working great anyways. And my kids were like, "What is that?" And we had to like explain all of it. And so my aunt and I were talking about like, oh, then like reminiscing about how when when internet started, if someone was on the phone and you wanted to be on the computer or if you were on the computer, like I had that happen so many times to me as a teenager. I'd be working on a deep piece of poetry on Microsoft Word, and then my brother would like pick up the phone to call somebody and I would lose all of it.
That's right.
Yeah, then you got booted.
Yeah.
God. And it would be
Yeah. And then you'd have to wait for the like you wait for them to get off the phone, then
What
dial up
about when
again.
we didn't even have call waiting for a while. Like it would just be a busy signal if you're talking to one friend, and then all of a sudden call waiting, and you're like, beep beep, oh, someone's on the other line. Hold on, I'll be right back. And then
The
And then-
evolution of it all, like
I know.
and pagers and like
Oh my God,
pagers are
pagers.
so freaking funny.
Pagers. I forgot about
Okay,
that.
so what would be one song on your mixtape back in the day?
Oh no. You mean when I recorded it onto a cassette from the radio?
Hell yeah. Yes. What was that song? What was that one song that you couldn't get enough of?
Okay, I'm trying to think of one. Maybe Michelle answer this while I'm
Yeah,
thinking
well,
of mine, 'cause
I
I
would
know.
Oh yeah, here
I
she
was
goes.
that girl that called the radio. And speaking of not being able to get through, like that's when you hang up, call again, hang up, call again, hang up, call again until you finally get through. And all I wanted to do was dedicate this song. So I don't know. I mean, I would have to say Mariah Carey was big for me back
Oh
then.
yeah.
Oh,
Very first album
Oh,
with
hell yeah.
Someday on it, or the Backstreet Boys,
Oh.
or Spice Girls, you know, like just
Mhm.
the 80s and 90s jams were.
Oh my God, we didn't have we had just radio stations to listen to. So
yeah.
LA would be KIQQ and Kiss FM.
Kiss, yeah.
Yeah, I distinctly remember like I would be up late at night while after my parents were asleep, like secretly recording songs off the radio that we weren't allowed to listen to because we were religious
Oh, yeah.
onto my cassette tapes, right? And then labeling them something else, like. But I would be like,
The history of France.
My Hallelujah mix.
No. Oh, I remember how I used to label them because the cult I went to, they would record every Sunday's sermon on cassette, and then everyone would get issued a cassette, and so I would label it as like the sermon cassette.
But how did you, did you have a little marker like that so you would know that it wasn't that? So this way you would know which
I had a
one
whole
was-
system. I had a whole
Oh,
system.
of course you did.
I had a
That's
whole
so
system.
fascinating.
Yeah, but I think probably like one of my big summertime ones, like I for some reason really loved Tim McGraw and Faith Hill, even though I'm not a
Oh, I
country
love
person.
them.
But I loved them. And
Me
so some of their
too.
songs, like I would wait for their songs to come on and then record them on my cassette.
Skydiving, I was Rocky Mountain High. I love that song from Live Like I Was Dying. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
So for me, it was absolutely Olivia Newton-John.
Mm.
Tell me you're gay without telling me you're gay. I literally crushed on that chick, and I made a whole scrapbook of Olivia Newton-John only. Like, hello.
That tracks.
And then hello, 15th birthday. I went to her Koala Blue store in a limo with my other friends so that I could potentially meet her, not thinking she lived in fucking Australia, just had a couple of stores because she was just doing stuff. And I
Because she just
remember
hangs out the
trying,
store, right?
oh, and I had to try Vegemite for the first time,
Oh my
but
God.
all of my 15-year-old friends, and then we went to some restaurant in a limo. It was hilarious.
That is
But
funny.
oh my God, the outfits, the clothing in this. But then in the summer, I lived in, like I lived in a bikini and OP shorts and anything I could get from a surf shop, basically, is how California rolled. Flip-flops all year, all summer long.
I had the
The
very
Sherman Oaks
low-waisted
Galleria.
jeans, like very, very, very low-waisted jeans that I would hide from my parents. And then they had like dragons like embroidered up the front and like the velvet, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because that was like the bell bottom. So it was like bell bottom, low-waisted, dragons up the front. And I couldn't wear them around my parents. So I'd wait until they were gone.
Oh
Or
my,
I was supposed to wear
I
them.
love it. All right, so let's do a few rapid fire questions. You guys ready?
Yes.
Okay. Freeze pops or bomb pops? River?
Freeze pops.
Okay, what about you?
Bomb.
Bomb for me too.
Mhm.
Pool party or sprinkler run?
Pool party.
Nice.
Ooh.
I'm both.
Yeah, I'm both too. I'm like, that's a tough one. I
It-
would
it-
prefer a pool party,
Yeah.
but we didn't have that all the
I
time.
don't like running through the grass, like the dry summer grass with
But
the
that's where
sprinkler
we do the
on.
slippy slides.
Yeah, and I didn't like it, but that's what we had to work with. I'm like, heck yeah, if that's all we got is a sprinkler and a hose,
are we
and
talking-
I'm drinking from the hose and I'm,
So,
hey.
so like our backyard was big. It was big enough to house a pool, like, because my mom still lives in our house. But we had the basketball court and the paddle tennis court, which is similar to a pickleball court. It just plays
Yeah.
like a flattened tennis ball, just for anybody who doesn't know paddle tennis. But so we had enough grass where we and my mom would get so pissed because you know what happens with the slip and slide and glass. It turns it all dead. But
Yep.
that would be really fun. But my other friends had pools. So on occasion, we would just kind of do a little bit of everything in a sense, just depending upon whose house was like up for grabs that day. But I would ride my bike with my little backpack and I'd be gone all day long. And in the pool, we would put each other on our shoulders for chicken fights in the pool.
Mhm.
You remember
Yeah.
chicken fights? Those were
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
And you would get like rub burns. Like I was stronger than a lot of the other girls. So naturally, I was the one that would hold them. And I just remember their legs like really clamping on and their feet wrapped around me. And I would get like rub burns, like
I
not
love,
not sexy rub burns like at all. Like, but I was competitive.
well, I was such a dork. I had to wear these earplugs that were custom made because listen, because I got ear infections so much that finally I was about to get my, what did they say when you have to get tubes put in
Yeah,
your ears?
Tubes, yeah.
I had
Yeah.
these custom molded earplugs that just looked like this super weird. And so I'm hanging out with my friends, but they'd be talking and I have to pull it out and go, huh? What?
Oh.
What'd you say? I couldn't hear a darn thing anybody was saying, but hey,
Oh my
water
God.
didn't get in my ear, so
That is good.
Hey, winning.
And yeah, just so many fun games. Okay, so I love sprinkler fun though. It was always fun. Summer camp or summer school?
I didn't go to either, so I
Camp
don't
for me,
know.
summer camp, big time.
Summer camp, but as I got older, travel sports took over my
Yeah.
life. So travel softball, travel basketball was more like it as I got older, but maybe when I was younger, summer camps, yeah.
Um, Kenny and
I'll
I.
say camp because I did do I'm not correct. I did do summer theater camps. I did a lot of those, so I'd say camp. Yeah.
Yeah, Kenny and I would go away for a month in summer camps.
Mm.
It was a Jewish camp up in Ojai, California called Camp Ramah. There's several across the country. It's just total Jewish camp, but it was so freaking amazing. So I love that. Best road trip snack in the summer for you? I know, it's a good one.
That's hard. I as a kid or now?
It's summer, back in the summer, kid. What would you get? Would your mom make you stuff? Like, was everything in Ziplocs and like wrapped up in plastic, like, or like tin foil?
Listen, there were six of us, and we were religious cult kids. Everything was bought in bulk.
Yep. But what would you remember what you would snack on?
I honestly don't remember. Those are some of the things I just don't remember from childhood, like at all.
Yeah, when my mom would take us, it was just like it was peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and stuff, it'd be
Mm.
things that are easy and probably, and I think potato chips, like just simple things.
It
Sour
was probably a lot of
cream.
homemade stuff.
Oh, hell yeah, sour cream and cheddar ruffles.
Oh, so
Those are
good.
still bomb. I don't
Those
eat
are
those.
still so good. Yep.
God, that sounds really good, actually. Um, Ever had a little summer fling? Did you have a little boyfriend or girlfriend in the summer? Little kisses?
I had the best summer fling when I was 16.
Yeah, tell us give us a little bit about it.
Um, so yeah, I was 16. I met this guy in a theater production and
Mhm.
we became friends, and he was turning 18 and headed off to college that fall, and we spent the entire summer hanging out as friends, and then we started dating. And it was just like the most romantic thing ever. He would pick me up from my parents' house and we go hiking at like midnight, and we would go skinny dipping and all kinds of stuff. And he played guitar, and he was just so cute. Yeah.
That is very cute. Did you ever have any little summer flings?
Maybe at some of the basketball camps I went to,
Oh,
but
snap.
it wasn't really a fling. It was
Okay.
just
Little
me
crushy crush.
crushing on, yeah. And I would say I was just so into sports and doing my thing that no, it didn't really.
Hmm.
Or if I went to the skating rink, I would be like, ooh, maybe I could do a couple skate, but that really didn't happen either. So
Yeah, I really, for me, it was mostly we all were just always in a big co-ed group. And we
Mm.
just had fun together. Like it was just a big group of us, girls and boys and whoever's house we were at for a house party and things like that. But I didn't really have like true summer flings. Oh, do you remember like which summer movie defines like any of those summers for you where you saw like a big blockbuster or so?
Yes. So here in the Grand, we have a drive-in theater. And when I was a
Ooh,
teenager, that was
that
like
that is epitome of summer right there.
yeah, that was like the hangout thing. And there was like a Bi-Mart across the street from it. So
Oh,
what we would do
perfect.
is like we would all meet up in the Bi-Mart parking lot and then pile as many people as we could into one vehicle and then
Yep.
go in because you would just pay a flat
That's
fee,
right. Did
It
you
was like
bring chairs and
12
stuff
bucks. Yeah, we
or
bring chairs or blow up mattresses, or we put a
yeah?
mattress in the back of someone's car, sleeping bags. And then our drive-in theater has like a big field in front of the screen. And so we'd play soccer. Like we'd go early and play soccer out in that little field
Oh,
until
how
it was time.
fun.
It was so much fun. And it was definitely something we did. Like it was every weekend we'd be doing that, especially as teenagers. It was like a great like make out space. Like you and your crush would go, and
Uh-huh.
I think one of the movies that stood out to me was going and seeing Pearl Harbor at the drive-in theater
Oh,
as a
wow.
teenager with my friends.
That's
And
fun.
that one like really stood out to me.
What was one a blockbuster you remember that you went?
so there was a BMX biking movie called Rad.
Oh my God.
I don't know if
Yeah,
you've heard about it,
I
but
did.
it's still to this day one of my faves.
Oh, that's
It
cute.
just brings back so many memories of hanging out with the boys around my neighborhood and trying to be that, be a good BMX biker and whatever we were doing, whether it was building skate ramps and skateboarding, we'd watch those kind of shows to like pump us up to play
Mm-hmm.
outside. So, and it's like a sports slash romantic slash friend hanging out. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
got all the good ingredients in it. So that one's probably.
Did you ever put playing cards in the spokes of your bike tire to make it sound?
Yes. And we used to put little light things in there when they would like
Oh
connect to the
yeah.
spokes.
Yeah, the ones that you clip on.
And then it
Yeah.
would make like that weird, would make like a
Mhm.
whipping sound and stuff.
Yep.
It was fun.
And pegs were
Oh,
super popular.
Mhm.
So you could ride people in the back.
hell yeah. Did you ever
Yeah.
have a spike?
I think maybe at one point with pegs on it. Yeah, yeah.
I rocked it like a Lucky Charm bike. Like it had the big banana seat. And it was like lucky. It was like
Oh, the
it was like
banana seat was in.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was like a green
Yeah, I have one of those.
Irish. So I called it the Lucky Charm bike because it had like a green
Mhm.
Irish vibe to it. But for movies, for me, it was really like seeing movies with our dad. So it was like Star Wars. I saw Jaws with him. Um, E.T. was a really
Mm.
like for me like a big summer. And then like I mentioned Star Wars. That was and then anytime a new Star Wars came out, that was kind of like an annual summer movie, to go to. So, I mean, that's 1976. Like I
I
told
like
you.
it. I like
Yeah,
it.
I
Yeah.
mean, that was
Yeah.
some fun stuff. Okay, so crazy, any summer jobs at some point?
I did a lot of babysitting. And then when I
Yes.
was 14, I started working as a busser at a Chinese restaurant.
Yum. So did you get food like while you
Oh yeah, and they they were so funny. They had like the Americanized Chinese food for their
yeah.
menu, But then they were Cantonese, and so they would make their food like in the kitchen, like behind the
Ooh,
scenes, and they would feed me that, which was so great. I loved it.
so delicious. What about you? Your
I
first summer jobs?
My
What
first
have
one.
been?
So my dad owned a restaurant, so I worked for him a lot during the summer.
Oh.
I was a
Was it
bus.
Italian?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
I
thought. That's
was a
what I thought.
bus girl for a little while, a hostess, a server as I grew up through
Wow.
that whole thing. But on the side, I officiated basketball.
Hmm.
I started when I was 15 officiating
That's cool.
basketball and what else? And I worked college basketball camps as well on
Hmm.
the side. So yeah.
I love
Fun.
that. For me, I was a lifeguard. That was my first summer job.
Mm.
I was an attendant at the pool. Because I was 15 at that point, and then I had to wait till I turned 16, and it wasn't till January. So, but I was an attendant, so everyone would bring their bags and clothing, you know what I mean? And then I'd give them a
Yeah.
ticket, and then
Oh yeah.
I would get to walk. I loved using the hose. I mean, we were so wasteful back then, but I would use the hose to like clean off the deck and, but it was so cathartic. And then I started learning lifeguard stuff. I also coached, which you didn't know, but you would like it. I coached synchronized swimming, and my girls actually
Mm.
won LA City.
Oh, I did not know that
I
about
know.
you.
Yeah. I mean, I love swimming and pool, and I'm just a water baby in general, but then when I became a lifeguard, I was the shit. I thought I was the shit in my red bathing suit, sitting up on top and my sunglass. I just thought I
You
would
were so cool.
cool it. I was 16 at that point, 16 and a half, and going into like 10th grade, 11th grade.
Watch out, Baywatch, Michelle Flavor in the house.
Well, funny enough, I was talking about Baywatch, but one of my friends from high school, Erica Leniak, she was in the original she was in Baywatch. So it's
Oh
funny.
wow.
But yeah, it kind of did feel like that. But and then I remember I would just throw up every time I had to do my testing. And then I'd come out and I'd nail it, but I got really nervous. So yeah, that's
Did
fun.
you ever have to save someone from drowning? Like did that happen?
No, not, I mean, yes, little kids, they would sometimes get a little too tired and then get stuck. But it
Mhm.
wasn't like, I mean, I would notice it really soon because I'd be watching them. I'd be like, that kid's about to get tired. And, so I'd jump in, blow my whistle, jump in. But we did a lot of testing. So
Mm.
someone would wear an orange, we would have it, it's called the orange shirt drill. And one of the, like the attendants or one of the lifeguards would wear an orange drill shirt, and they would be, when it got really busy, they would be floating in one part of the pool. And this was like really big pools for LA County, LA City. So you need to like really be scanning. And the minute you see that orange shirt, that's when you have to jump in. And whoever jumps in first then is like kind of tested. And so they give you all your stuff and you get them out and put them on your shoulder and swim back to, being able to get them out and help and all that kind of stuff. So it was physical, a lot of physical
After
stuff.
we're recording, River, I'm gonna make Michelle do the orange shirt drill. I'm gonna go out in the pool and see what she got right now.
Please film this.
I can do it all. I mean, I remember everything.
I'm gonna flail around in the water and see if she can rescue me.
Oh, please video this. Let's see this.
It's bestie rescuing time.
It's bestie rescue. That's funny. Anyways, this is fun. I like talking about summer and hearing everybody's little stories. It's fun.
It's nice to have a light episode once in a while too.
I know. I love that. Well, love you, friend. That was fun.
Love you. Have fun at the pool. Go save Michelle.
I know.
Thanks for having me on again. I think that's my third episode. So
I think it is.
I'm honored and grateful, and I always just want to say thank you. And
we love having you here.
You guys are lovely, and I love you both.
I know. We love having you here.
Mwah.
Mwah. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode today, be sure to subscribe and share because what do we say, baby?
Sharing is caring.